Hey, welcome back to Everybody with Coffee with Cagnetta. And I have one of my dear friends today with me, Eric Vainder, and he is with
Northern Trust?
Trust.
Yeah.
Northern Trust. I got to get that right. So you've been with Northern Trust for a long time.
A long time. I'm only 35, but I've been there 27 years, so go figure.
Have you really?
27 years, just passed in
Wow.
June.
That's
Yeah,
wild. And
really just about my only job.
just about your only job. So you're from New York,
Mhm.
and we talked about that before, but give everybody a little bit of your backstory. You're from
Yeah,
Long Island.
sure. I grew up on the South Shore of Long Island in a town called Massapequa.
Of course.
Massapequa is the smallest big town, sometimes for good things, sometimes for bad things. I always use Seinfeld is from Massapequa.
Right.
The Baldwin brothers are from Massapequa, but then we also have Joey Buttafuoco, who used to live around the
Ah,
block
yes.
from me. And now we have Rex Harriman or something like that is the
Okay.
new one. The Gilgo murder guy is
Oh,
also from
great.
Massapequa. So we get the good and the bad, I guess. But it's the smallest big town.
It's the smallest big town. And how'd you wind up in Miami? What was that?
So my older brother went to law school at the University of Miami,
There you go.
and when I went to Hofstra University on Long Island, which most people locally
Of
probably don't
course.
know what Hofstra is, but you
Of
do.
course.
So I went to
It's where the
Hofstra.
Jets
Of
train,
course,
right?
that's great. Yeah, we had Wayne Corbett. He
Yes.
was the dolphin killer for a little while,
Yeah, it
right?
was.
Um, so I graduated school. I actually was running a landscaping business. So I would cut lawns. We did maintenance. I'd cut lawns during the day, and then I'd go to college at night for undergrad. Graduated school. My brother said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm not really sure." And he said, "Well, why don't you move down to Florida?" He had just graduated law school. He's like, "Move down to Florida. The weather is great. You're going to love the lifestyle and give it a try." And I hung up the phone with him. I told him, okay. He hung up the phone. He bought a one-way ticket, one-way ticket. And he said, "I'm coming up in 2 weeks. We're going to drive down." And I never looked back.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. Slept on a floor for a couple months with a futon, that
What'd you do
drove.
with your business? Did you
I
just
sold it to my
nice?
cousin for, I mean, it really, in essence, I sold a trailer, a couple of big lawn mowers,
Right.
the weed whackers, all that stuff, and the accounts are really they weren't worth a heck of a lot, but I sold it for enough to carry me for a little bit when I got down here. I drove down a car that had 170,000 miles. I tell my son this story. It had 170,000 miles on it. Didn't have air conditioning, and the windows wouldn't go down. So this is like walking to school uphill both
Both
ways in the
ways.
snow. But this one's true.
Right.
And I remember my father saying, "You're really going down that car?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't really have any other options."
Right.
And I came down and drove that car for a year about before getting the job at Northern Trust.
How how did you drive that car in South Florida?
This is
Did
funny
you get
because
the windows to go down?
no, I didn't. And here's the funny thing is um, if you guys remember, older cars, sometimes you'd have to rev them up a little bit and then put them into drive, right? This car, I had to rev up and slam it into drive, and otherwise it would stall.
Mm.
And so we I worked on Brickell in our old building, and it had an elevated parking. I would almost like have to get a running start to get up the ramp into the garage. And boy, people would just, they were ruthless, especially the other people starting my age, and they would just make fun of me the whole time about this car. So when I finally got rid of it, I got a Jetta. And to this day, that was my favorite car. Like it was so great that I had this new Jetta,
Right.
right? That was mine, that didn't stall, that's windows went down, they were crank windows, and that had air conditioning.
Wow.
It was pretty
Wow.
cool.
And so you were in Miami for a long time.
I was in Miami. I got the job at Northern Trust in 1998, um, and I worked in Miami for 23 years. I used to run our Aventura office, our Key Biscayne office, and I had a team of people on Brickell. And then I came up to Broward County to run Broward County for Northern Trust 4 years ago. It was still somewhat of the pandemic. We were kind of going in and out of the pandemic. So about 4 years. And honestly, this community has, like, even you, right? You know, like,
Right.
we become buddies right away, right?
Right.
First time we met. The community has just been so welcoming, so warm and great to me. I feel real lucky about that.
Yeah, well, you're a pretty authentic guy just from that story alone. I'm just talking about, we've come from I think somewhat similar backgrounds. I mean, we both worked, as kids. We both went to college. I didn't do so well in college. I forget the story whether or not,
I can't talk about that. My mom might hear and she gets embarrassed. So, but I wasn't exactly the A student,
Right.
but it got by.
Yeah, that's right. But what's the saying? C students give
C's
C's
get
get
degrees.
degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm here.
yeah, you're here, but you're here leading Northern Trust in Broward County. It's a great bank, and investments. And tell us what you do at Northern
Yeah.
Trust.
So, and it is a great bank, right?
Right,
And being there 27 years, actually, we have about 40 people in Las Olas, and our average tenure is just under 20 years,
wow,
which is really unusual. And in order to get an average at like that, I mean, we have 4 people that are over 30 years and a lot that are close to it. So my background really was a trust officer.
right,
So I didn't choose that. It was the only position that I was able to get when I got the job, right? I
right.
didn't know what a trust was. Um, had to learn that on the job. But now, with my background, I work with some of our clients on planning. I manage the office and the people. I do a fair amount of new business generation, and probably the thing I love the most is I become the representative of Northern Trust in the community,
Yeah,
and that's been really enjoyable. And even again, just doing something like this, it's that I feel that it's my responsibility to help grow our brand and get good recognition and then be a good corporate citizen.
yeah. Well, even before you were at Northern Trust, your predecessor was a great corporate citizen as well, and so he was there for a long time, and so now you've taken that role. And what boards are you on now?
So first with yeah, and Tom was, right? And I really I actually spoke to him this morning. I still touch base with him. He was a great leader, and I kind of followed a lot of great leaders. I'm very fortunate about that. There's been a lot of people that have paved the way. And then a lot of the boards, many of them were involved with, like the Broward Performing Arts Center for Performing Arts, which I've been involved in since I've come up there. I love the performing arts, and I love the Broward Center. The
It's a great
community,
place.
yeah, it's amazing. Community Foundation of Broward, a great organization, so well run, and such a just a dedicated group of people. I still sit on a couple of boards in Miami. I've been very involved in Easter Seals for many years. Actually, I was couple couple of chairs ago. I was the chairman of the board there, and then the Overtown Youth Center in Miami. Very passionate about what they're doing and how they're helping some of the children in the Overtown area. So those 4 primarily, I've helped on different committees over the years, or or chaired committees over the years of different nonprofits. Um, and then through the bank, I've been able to support a lot of nonprofits with either giving money, placing people on boards, hosting events, or doing things like that.
Yeah, again, your organization does a great job. They have a great location down in Las Olas. So you host actually some events there for charities. I know you just did something for my wife's Pace Center for girls up there on the rooftop. It's you've been it's been a great partnership over the years with Northern. So
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And to me, I can't always write a check, right? I wish I could. Um, I really strongly encourage my partners to get involved in one way or another, whether they're volunteering their time, whether they're volunteering their expertise. And then that office has enabled me to help out a lot of organizations by hosting events for them where they're bringing in their major donors, or it's it could be a board meeting that they're doing.
yeah,
So I've been very fortunate to be able to have that building in that location to do that as well.
You know, it's funny. Somebody asked me once upon a time, like, where did that come from? Did it? And my parents weren't necessarily charitable. I mean, I just not that they wouldn't have been. It just wasn't like a thing.
Yeah.
Like, where did it come from? Like,
It's so funny because we're very similar,
right,
right?
right,
We
right,
always
right,
talk about that. I didn't learn that from my parents. Not, and again, not that they weren't,
right,
greatest people or
right.
other things. And I actually even asked my mom that recently,
Huh,
um, didn't get a great answer from her because I don't think she really knew, right?
right.
Like just, I think for me at least, it was from other mentors inside Northern, outside Northern, and then the bank's culture. And I remember that I had a boss, mentor, close friend of mine, and he said to me, he's like, what are you doing in the community? And at the time I really nothing. And he brought me, and this was he was involved with Camilla's house, which was down in Miami. And he said, I want you to, get together with Camilla's house and help them start a young leaders group. And that was probably about 20-ish years ago. And so that was forced, right? It wasn't like I was volunteering for it, but it was the greatest way to get me to realize how important it was to give back in one way or another. And from there, I guess it just, I loved it. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to be involved. And after that experience, maybe it took off, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It's a great community up here and in Miami. I
Hmm.
mean, it's definitely different though. What do you think are the biggest differences between the two? I mean, Miami is a big city. And sometimes, I've gotten involved with some of the charities down there. And not that I feel like I get lost, but it seems like to have a different, structure, vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know what to
I'm
say.
trying to think about how to phrase this because you're absolutely right.
It's not bad.
It's
I
not
mean,
bad.
there's a lot of money flowing through there, right? A lot of old families,
Yeah.
and I don't get that, like, certainly the families like the Huizingas and the people up here in Broward Styles, there is some history up here, but not as much.
Right.
I don't
No,
feel.
you're right. And so this is how I'll say it because I noticed that difference right away when I came up here. I'm not saying better or worse, just a little different. The organizations in Broward are extremely connected to each other. And I would tell you that they
Mm,
run together in a pack
mm,
with a common goal of trying to make this community a better place. And that's one of the things I noticed right away. In fact, I remember when I first came up here, I was meeting with an organization. I spent a lot of time when I first came up here just going on tours,
mm,
right? I would reach out, I would call up an organization. I'd say, hey, I'd love to come out and see your facilities. And I spent a lot of my time touring because I felt that the only way I could actually make a difference is understanding. And so on these tours, it would always be, you know, I'd ask, where do you get your funding? What's the size of your budget? And what does your board look like? Or I would have looked at the board ahead of time and asked them few questions about it. I looked at their finances ahead of time and asked them some questions. And many times they'd tell me about like grants or funding sources or other things. And they'd say, yeah, but that organization is going after that one. So we're probably not going to go after that one. We're going to go over here. And I got the sense right off the bat about how they were focused on the community's best
mm,
interests and not trying to create the largest budget for their organization always.
mm.
But I do think there's cohesion between the nonprofits that is fantastic in this community, right? And this was my first impression. I'd still say it right now. Even the executive directors, they all seem to be friendly, know each other for the major organizations. And again, they know what each other's organization does well, and they're not stepping on each other's toes. I think that they're really out for the best interest of Broward, and I've really enjoyed witnessing.
I think you have a good seat to see that at the community foundation, though.
Yeah,
It's probably the best seat for
I think
that. I
so.
mean, other than I'm on the United Way board, that's another place where you could kind of see the lay of the land a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the community foundation, I think you probably have the best kind of view of the nonprofit world in Broward
I
County.
mean, they're both amazing organizations. I was very involved in the United Way in Dade,
Yeah.
and Kathleen Cannon was one of the first people I reached out to when I came up here. And the United Way up here, I mean, she's a dynamic leader. She's amazing. Jennifer Flannery Anderson is just dynamic. They're both, and they do different things in different ways. But yeah, I've really learned a lot from being on the community foundation board, and from spending time talking with
Right.
these leaders. Yeah,
So you're getting your folks involved, and we often talk about how what advice would we give to younger people or younger selves, or what are you doing? I know your team, you're leading your team up here in Broward. How many people do you have up here?
in our office, there's about I think I counted recently 38 people. Yeah, 38 people in various different disciplines,
But I
different
know you
jobs.
mentor other people beyond that too. So what do what's your advice to young people in the community? And I do feel very hopeful that this generation, because I have some young people finally here at Transworld. Business brokerage used to be the bastion of old guys with white hair. And so now we're getting in some young and diverse and females and men, women and men, and they're very involved. They're more involved even than some of the brokers that have been around for a long time. So I think that's good.
Yeah, and I do a lot of mentoring. Even I have a handful of people still in Miami that I mentor and get together with. And I think mentoring is key, right? I think everybody needs to, even at, it doesn't matter what age, right? You always need mentors and people to bounce ideas around and somebody who guides you, right? On a professional track, what I think that the people that are starting their careers, let's start with that first. I think they've got to make sure that they are networking, right? That
Yeah.
they are building a group of people that they're going to grow with and ultimately do business with in one way, shape, or form, right? And I don't know if that always happens as much, but I think that they need to really make sure that they're focusing on not today, but they're focusing on building their career in the future, and a lot of that's networking. And then with networking and also working with organizations is that it's your brand, right? Like, what brand do you want to build? What do you want to be known as? And that person should be somebody who's giving back, right? You're you're making your living in this community. You're raising your family potentially in this community, and that you've got to look at everybody in the community and try to give back again in one way, shape, or form. And I think the thing that somebody starting their career out, it's looks so far off into the distance, right? But like I said, I'm 27 years. I feel like it was yesterday I started at the bank, right?
Right.
And I remember even
Still remember being hot in that car.
yeah, so or yeah, I remember being out in the car and not being able to get up the ramp in it, having to drop it into drive after revving it up. But you think sometimes when you're taught, you're almost taught about thinking in 5-year increments. Like,
Right.
what's my next 5-year plan? What's my next 5-year plan? And sometimes, like building a career and helping in a community, it might be longer than that,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Which is hard if you're 22 to start thinking beyond. So it's about changing the mindset, letting them know what your brand going to be into the future. And then I really do believe it's it's learning by watching, not always by being told, right?
Right.
So when they see what you're doing and you're talking to them about it, when they see what others are doing, it's better than somebody sitting back and saying, okay, well, in order for you to get to this level, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. It's telling stories. It's like having these conversations. I think
Right.
those are really influential.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have asked me 30 years ago, would my career have been this long here doing this and doing things like the pasta dinner for over 20 years? People are like, I would have said, no way. I mean, pasta dinner was a thing that I did for ha-has one day, one year, and then all of a sudden it turned into a 20-year thing. So I always tell people, get started early. I mean, the earlier you can get out there and get involved is really important. So you've enjoyed Broward County. What are some of the things you like up here to do? I mean, we do like going out to eat.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, no, restaurants, I love going out to eat. In fact, I was told last week that all I do is walk up and down Las Olas Boulevard, somebody told me.
is
I
that all they see you doing?
I'm just seeing going between the restaurants on Las Olas, it
There's
seems
some
like.
good ones on
Yeah.
Las Olas.
I
They've done
I
a good job.
really I love, eating out, I love, I we talked about before, the Performing Arts Center and going
Yeah,
there.
sure.
I really, really enjoy that. I think that's great up here in Broward. Um, the
Have you
the
tried Ukiah yet?
no.
It's good.
Which one is that one?
It's the new Japanese smokehouse that just opened up. It used to be Matchbox over
Okay.
by, over. It's on the river. So
I haven't tried
it
that
used to
yet.
be right next. It's right next
Ukiah.
door to the wharf.
Okay.
It's a cool choice. I mean, there's so many good things on Las Olas. We went to, where'd we go? Sparrow
Sparrow in
in
Wynwood.
in
A
Wynwood.
great restaurant.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was.
there's quite a few down in the
So the
Miami
guy
area.
from Ukiah is from Q.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right next door to Sparrow. Yeah. I
Yes,
love that place too.
that place is
It's
is is
fantastic. There's a
fantastic as well.
place right across the street that just opened. I haven't tried yet. It's called Rosemary. That's
All right,
supposed to be pretty good. I have not tried it yet. There's a place a little north. It's called Sonny's.
right,
That's a new, really good restaurant over there. I went there about a week or so ago.
all right,
Yeah, yeah. Just there's no shortage of restaurants,
right,
and truthfully, I love going out to eat. I would rather stay home and cook many times, believe it or not.
right.
I
Yeah,
cooked pasta for my in-laws last night.
yes, we talked about
Yeah,
cooking.
yeah,
It's I love to cook too. I
yeah.
love having people over the house.
It's great. I mean,
And you and Sarah like to cook together?
well, I like to cook. Sarah entertains very well.
So yeah, me too. I
Yeah,
mean, Allison, same
yeah, it's
thing.
perfect.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. Like I think cooking is therapeutic,
Right.
and she's so social and good at
Right.
entertaining it.
Yeah.
It works out well.
So what else do you like to do for fun? You still working out? You
Yeah, I
still
like to go to. I do like to exercise. I try to go once a day. It's therapeutic to me
yeah.
also. So I get up. I get up at 5. I literally roll out of bed and go to the gym. It's really close to my house, and I try not to miss a day. That's kind of my structured routine. Doesn't matter what time I go to bed the night before. I feel like I need to stay on track, and I go do that, for better or worse. But yeah, we do boating. Sarah and I, we tend to boat. Boating for me is going to a local sandbar or doing sort of a midnight, not midnight, sunset cruise. Not a heavy fisherman. I like to fish, but that doesn't seem to happen quite as often. Um,
Did you do that in Long Island for your
yeah.
butter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In Long Island, this is a fun fact. I was actually a commercial clammer when I was younger. Yeah.
Stop. Have
Yeah.
we had this
I don't
commercial?
know
Have we
about
had
it.
this?
I
I
don't think we
was
did.
too.
You were I didn't know that. Get the heck out of here.
I was 17 years old. I got my commercial
Yeah.
clamming license.
Yeah.
I was in the Jersey Shore, and you were up in Long
Yeah.
Island.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And we
Yeah, I
used to
did.
sell clams
I
every
used to
day.
sell them to the I'd go out and get them, sell them to the local markets. And I did that for 3 summers throughout
Did
high
you jump
school.
in the water to do it,
Yeah, so in
or you
Long
use a
Island,
rake?
at when the tide was out, you could stand on the mud.
Okay.
So only at full high tide you'd have trouble standing around. So we were in the water doing it.
Yeah, we were in the water too.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, we were usually about waist or chest deep
Okay.
because we were getting eaten by the flies.
Those
The
green
big
flies.
green.
Oh
Oh
my
the
God.
greenheads hurt. They were slow. You'd kill them,
They were it's like one of the most
but they draw
painful
blood.
bites.
They draw blood.
Yeah, they can actually drive you insane because you're trying to swat them away from you the whole time.
That's why we used to
Yeah.
crouch,
Oh yeah.
crouch in the water, and then
Funny. I didn't know you did that.
yeah, and you get bit on the foot by the crabs.
Oh yeah. Step on a horseshoe crab or something every once in a while, or we would have
Spider crabs. We used to pull
oh
them up.
man.
They're
They're
nasty looking.
poor ugly creatures.
Yes,
Poor guys.
yes.
Yeah, the razor clams are the ones that we were always careful about. Like, you get a fragment of a razor clam and it cut your foot a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. We used to wear socks.
Yeah, water aqua socks. So I took Sarah a clamming last summer. One of my best friend that I used to do this
Inner
with.
tube with a basket.
I Yep.
All
I
right.
took her out there last summer, and I told her, I said, "Listen, you got to come. This is something. This is you want to know me. This is my this is my DNA out there." And I thought that she was gonna hate it because it's messy.
It is messy. It's ugly. It's
Oh
not
my
fun.
God, she had the greatest time. In fact, we were talking about this weekend about how much she loved it.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
pretty cool.
that is very funny. So, to wrap this up, what's the plans for the future? Anything?
And in work, I'll tell you, it's just continuing to get the word out about what we're doing at Northern
Yeah.
Trust.
You do
And
such a great job. I mean, I want to say that I don't think there's another organization like yours, number one. And number two, to people who have money that are worried about it in the future, they should talk to you guys.
yeah, I appreciate that. And I really do think that I think we do an amazing job, extremely client focused. Um, and I just would like to grow our presence in the market a little bit
Right.
more. That's one of the real goals that I have.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I appreciate you coming in
Thank
today.
you. This was fun.
I
It was
mean,
great.
it's like we could do this all
I know.
day.
I know.
I'll probably
Are
find
you
more stuff.
sure we have to close now? Oh man. All right. Well, we'll talk.
We'll
We'll
talk
talk after.
more. We'll do more
After.
stuff in the community together.
Yep.
You're still a young guy. Hopefully, I'm a young guy.
You are. Yeah.
Not as young as you, but I really appreciate you coming in today,
No,
Eric.
thank you for having
What's
me.
the best way to get in touch with you if somebody wants to learn more about Northern Trust?
So I think probably either my email, it's my initials EJV followed by the number 1 at ntrs.com, or my phone number 305-789-1182.
There you go. You're getting El Presidente's number
There you go.
correctly. So thank you, buddy. I
All right.
appreciate you
No
coming in
problem.
today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. Another excellent episode with Coffee with Cagnetta. See you next time.